Hi, welcome to Wednesday with Wendy. My name is Wendy Nelson, and I am an intuitive healer and life coach. And this week's topic, we are talking about balance. And this topic comes to mind just because I have been talking a lot. If you've been following me lately on social media, I've been talking a lot about stress. Because oftentimes we don't think about how much stress really affects our health. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into the connection between hormones. That's the first thing that really comes to my mind is hormones when it comes to balance. And when we're under constant stress, it's really difficult to find that balance in our life, right? So when we talk about habits of the mind and hormones, that is another connection. It's another connection. It's not just the cortisol that's happening here. It's the dopamine reward that is happening here in our brain. So we have two responses to stress. We have a cortisol response from the pituitary gland, which then activates the adrenal glands to secrete cortisol, which kicks in our fight or flight. And then we also have dopamine, which is another important thing to think about when we're habitually staying in this fight or flight. Dopamine is the reason why we are such habitual human beings. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. And what happens as human beings, we love to feel the feeling of reward. So when we find something that makes us feel good, we always are going back to that same thing, which is what produces that dopamine in our brains. And when we're constantly feeding our brains with if we're constantly responding to that habit, the dopamine is constantly running through our neurotransmitters, and it's causing our brain to have an even deeper neural pathway, and so that causes an even more habitual behavior. So when we have stress, when we're under constant stress and we have this need to get out of the stress, get out of the fight or flight response, our bodies want dopamine. So then we go to that habitual behavior. So when it comes to balance, here's the thing, is we also want balance. We want reward, we want balance, and yet for some reason, it's difficult to have those two things in our life. We're constantly looking for reward and feeding that neural pathway in our brain. So if you sit back and think about it for a minute, the desire is balance. The desire is here, I'll just go through a list of things that I personally feel helps me have balance in my life. Where's my list? Oh, here it is. To improve our mood, control emotional response, to activate energy, to improve sleep patterns, to stimulate pleasure, to boost immune system, to lower fight or flight response, to spark creativity, to clear the brain fog and slow down the aging process, to create rest and restore, to feel grounded and centered. So if you think about balance, maybe some of those things are on your list of items that you desire in your life when it comes to balance. So how do you create balance? So So the reason why I bring up dopamine and cortisol is if we want to have all those things in our life, like sparking the creativity and lowering the fight or flight and boosting our immune system, because that's what happens when we're in rest and restore, is our immune system is boosted. And that's another way we can have balance in our life. So how do we do this? How do we get out of the constant stress and constantly our adrenal glands constantly being under stress and dropping cortisol into our bodies? And how do we stop this habitual behavior so that we can have new experiences and new creativity? Because when we have new experiences, our creative juices start to flow, and we start to feel more free, and we can start to express ourselves from our hearts, and we can be more spontaneous and just feel freedom on a regular basis, on a daily basis. You can feel, and I really believe in my heart that you can feel free no matter where you're at, where you are, where you're at work, at home, in the morning, in the evening. I truly believe that you can spark your creativity wherever you're at. And that's why we were talking about stress and cortisol. So, how do we do this? And to me, it's very simple. Reducing stress and getting out of habitual behavior is very simple. We just notice what's going on and we say, hey, I notice what's going on and I need to change something. So you sit down and you take a deep breath and you do a little meditation practice. And this is why I love to lead meditation so much, because what happens to the pituitary gland when we meditate and we clear our minds, we stimulate the master gland, the pituitary gland. And oxytocin, melatonin, serotonin, all of these happy hormones start to release into our bodies and make us feel happy and make us feel balanced. So next time you start feeling like you want to go for the quick fix with the sugar, and you just want to check out with the phone, or you want to grab that afternoon caffeine high, notice that that's a bit habitual behavior. It's a neural pathway that you've trained your brain to get into. And in order for you to get out of that neural pathway and start something new and spark your creativity, because when you're in that neural pathway, that deep neural pathway, that's where you lose that creative spark, that creative flow. And we are naturally wanting to create new things in our life. Human beings want new. We want something fresh. We want to learn something new about ourselves. We want to become more aware of ourselves and our surroundings. So when we're not feeding that need for newness and growth, and we're falling into the habit of our mind and walking around with cortisol constantly dumping into our systems, it's almost like we don't really have a choice. You don't have a choice but to become super sensitive, overly sensitive to everything around you. You become anxious, and you even start to feel low because the happy hormones are not they're not being produced in your brain. So if you are feeling that kind of like low point in your day, then follow me in this meditation. It's very simple, and life is not complex. Creating balance in your life is not hard. It's easy to feel calm. It's easy to feel not stressed out. It's very easy. And if you don't believe me, then just try this for maybe 7 days in a row when you feel stressed out, and see if you can change your mind about how you feel about stress. The lighting keeps changing. So a great way to get into a meditative state, and a state of emptiness and a state of thoughtlessness, is what we're going for. State of emptying the mind of thought. And it's important to do that on a daily basis, even just for 10-15 minutes, because our thoughts scatter our energy. And so the more our energy is scattered, the less energy we have for ourselves. And we end up exhausted and tired and lack of motivation. So tuning into the five senses is the first step to creating balance in your life. So I like to use sage to turn on my smelling sense, my olfactory, I think that's what it's called, right? Olfactory senses. If you have essential oils, it's perfect, because the essential oils crosses the blood-brain barrier and it goes directly to your bloodstream. Essential oils are very, very healing. So not only do they heal your body, but they turn on your olfactory senses. So if you don't have any sage with you, you can just maybe pick up a flower or something at your desk. You can just a pencil. I love the smell of a brand new pencil. Turn on your olfactory senses. And then next, turn on your sight. What do you see around you? Look at the details. Look at the details around you. There, that's better. The sun keeps coming up. Look at the details. Maybe if you can see out the window right now, you can look at the light, how it shines through the trees. Different colors you can see. And turn on your sight sensory. And if you want to close your eyes, you can. I like to close my eyes during meditation. And you just close your eyes and you can see light coming through your eyelids. And if you don't see light and you just see darkness, that's perfect too. But still using your sight. So, and then the next one, touch. If you're holding that pencil like I suggested, you feel it, and you close your eyes and you feel what the wood feels like, the different edges, and just take your time with touching, getting in touch with that sensory, touch sensory. And if you're just sitting in a chair, you can actually feel the chair underneath you. You can feel the earth underneath your feet. And even more still, feeling the earth without your shoes. And if you have the opportunity to put your feet in the grass, that's even better. Feeling the grass, the energy of the earth beneath your feet. And then turn on your ears. What do you hear? Do you hear the cars humming by? Do you hear the wind? Maybe you feel the wind against your skin. Do you feel the warmth of the sun? Do you feel the coolness of the air conditioner? Now turn on your taste sensory. What does your tongue taste like? And if you're smelling that pencil, you probably can taste, not only smell, but taste what that pencil might taste like. What the taste of your lips, the saltiness on your lips. Turning on all the senses helps you get out of your head. Helps you do something new and get out of that habit. Helps you reduce your stress within minutes. Helps you get out of your head and clear your mind, clear your thoughts. If you want balance in your life, if you want to balance your hormones, clear your mind. Your pituitary gland can take care of itself. Your pituitary gland will excrete all kinds of wonderful, happy, satisfying hormones just by tuning into your five senses. And this is a meditation in itself, and it only takes a few minutes. So I challenge you, the next time you reach for your afternoon pick-me-up, or you take a moment to tune into your five senses instead. Your mind will thank you, your body will thank you, and you will start to notice balance coming into your life, not just within your own body, but your mood will improve. Your emotional response will improve. You'll be able to control it. Your energy will be activated. Your sleep patterns will improve. Your immune system will be improved. Your flight or fight response will diminish. Your creative flow will come back. Your mind and your brain fog will clear. The aging process will slow down. And you'll feel more grounded and centered, safe within your own body, comfortable in your skin, just by tuning into the five senses. Isn't that easy? I know it sounds crazy, but it really is that easy. And then you just take a deep breath. And just on the exhale, let the tension fall away. Release the tension from your shoulders. Release the need to know the details about what's to come. And just trust that the universe takes you where you need to go. You don't need to know all the details. All you need to know is that where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. So thank you for joining me today for Wednesday with Wendy. If you care to check out my profile on Instagram or on Facebook, I'd love to connect with you there. And I have an exciting retreat coming up September 22nd through 26th. It's a healing meditation retreat where I take you into this type of practice 2 to 3 times a day, and we will be going through some activities to help you clear your mind and create balance in your life so you can come home with renewed energy and a sense of self. So if you want to know more about that retreat, I am offering $300 off this month through this month, and I'd love to have you with us. It's a small group of 8 of us, so perfect small group for lots of growth, self-awareness, and time for you to restore yourself. So thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.